and welcome back to GB Pilates. Today I'm going to give you a little routine to ease back pain. A lot of us, well, we're sitting on the sofa a lot more because we haven't got much else to do, so we tend to get a little bit stiffer in the lower back and we need to learn how to move the body and release it. So I'm going to give you some simple techniques that you can do at home. Just a little bit of an explanation. What happens is when we get a tight back, we tend to shorten in these muscles here. And when one muscle shortens, we all have pairs of muscles. So as my bicep shortens, my tricep lengthens. Same happens here. The back muscles shorten and the tummy muscles switch off. What we want to do is stretch out the back muscles and engage the core. So we're getting it back into working order. So what we're going to do in the first bit is learn how to stretch all the bits that we're relating to the lower back tightness, and then we'll learn how to engage them once they're freer. Hope you enjoy. So if you lie down, I want you to take a cushion or a squashy board if you've got one, just something between your knees, and this will help stabilise your pelvis. And I want you to take 3 nice deep breaths in and out to start with. So breathing in and breathing out. Relax your back into the floor, and again breathing in and breathing out. We all forget to breathe when we're in pain. So getting some breath into the body starts the body to naturally start to move again. Okay, so to start with, I want you to feel that sort of gap underneath your lower back. And I want you to place your fingers inside your hip bones. And we're going to breathe in. And as you breathe out, a gentle squeeze on the ball and roll your back so it's flat into the floor, and then releasing back to neutral. So where you could put your cup of tea or glass of water on, and then again, breathing in, do nothing, breathe out, engage the pelvic floor, flatten the lower back in to the mat, and release. Now we're looking for a nice flowing movement. To start with, it might feel a little bit jerky, it might feel that it doesn't move very much, but try and use the breath to help aid the movement and gain more movement. So it's not a massive squeeze of the ball or the cushion, it's just a gentle squeeze, thinking of a connection between your big toe, the inside of the heels and the inner thighs. And then you're going to come back to neutral. Now the next one we're going to do is something called pelvic clock. So this one, we tilt the pelvis back so we're flat into the floor, and then we're going to go round to the left hand bony side of our pelvis. So our knees go over and follow the movement, and then we go down to our tailbone. So we're tilting our pelvis the other way, and then round to the right hip and back into a small tilt. So what we're trying to do is count the numbers on the clock as we go round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right down the bottom, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 at the top. So keep going around in this circle. If you find any bits that feel tighter, just stop where the point is, breathe in and out 3 times, allowing the body to release, and then carrying on with the movement. And we're going to do 6 in one direction and 6 in the other. Now going nice and slowly helps the body adjust and loosen. If we go quick, it just misses the bits it doesn't really want to get into today. And I must excuse the squeaky floorboards. It isn't my back. And then the other way. So we're going to reverse the direction. Sometimes this feels completely the same, but often it'll feel really different, especially when we've got back pain on one side. So now you should feel you're getting a bit more movement in the hips and a bit more mobility. back to centre. Now we're going to take this into a large pelvic tilt, but we're going to do it a little bit more progressively today. So we're going to breathe in, breathe out, plug the feet into the floor and curl the pelvis off the floor like a small pelvic tilt, but just lift a couple of inches higher, breathing in at the top, little squeeze of that ball, and then coming down nice and slowly, vertebra by vertebra, down to the starting position. And the next time we're going to try and see if we can go up a little bit higher. So breathing in and breathing out, come up, coming now to middle of the rib cage, breathing in and breathing out. Send that tailbone away as you come down, sending the knees away, getting as much length through the spine as you can. And again, breathe in and breathe out. Come all the way up to your shoulders this time, sending the knees away, keeping the ribs close at the front, breathing in and breathing out. Now this movement should feel stretchy, but if it is actually painful, only go up to where you can keep pain free. So, and up again. So work within your own body's limits today. When you get to the top this time, I want you to do 10 little squeezes of the ball. I want you to think inner thighs are squeezing, but also a little squeeze of that pelvic floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Breathe in and breathe out, coming down nice and slowly through the spine. And we're going to do one more of those. So breathing in and breathing out, coming all the way up, or where you can comfortably go to today. And squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Breathe in and breathe out. Now I find large pelvic tilts absolutely one of the best exercises to get that length back in your spine when you've been struggling. But we can add a little bit more if you feel that you want to try something a little harder. We're going to go breathe in and breathe out. This time when you get to the top, take your arms over your head. Now this obviously will give you even more stretch down through the spine. So breathing in and breathing out. Really feel you're stretching that tailbone away. Each vertebra is going to touch the floor one at a time. And then bring your arms back over to the start position. And again, breathing in and breathing out. Come up, breathe in, do nothing, and then breathe out, coming down. Arms down by your side, and take the ball out from between your knees. Take your left leg long and hug your right leg into your chest. Just a moment to keep breathing. So you might feel this through the glute, might feel it through the front of the hip. And then you're going to take your opposite hand and take the leg over the body. So now you really are going to feel it in here, and you might feel a little bit into the lumbar spine. Each of these stretches, holding for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute if it feels like it's a really good stretch. And bring your leg back and swapping to the other leg. You may feel a difference between one side and the other as you do this. And then taking the leg over the body. Obviously working within your range and assessing how much pain you're in. So you want to feel a good stretch, but not a shooting pain or a stabbing pain, a tingling or a numbness. And take the leg back. And then you're going to roll onto your side, because when you've got back pain, you really shouldn't just sit up, and come up like that, so we're keeping the spine nice and straight. Now we're going to release the glutes, because the glutes can really, especially the piriformis, that sits, you know where the dimply bits are at the base of your spine, before you go down to your tailbone. This can get really, really tight. The piriformis muscle that attaches onto there, and it can pull it one way or the other, and that can cause a lot of discomfort. So take a spiky ball. Now, if your back's really bad, you might want to use a softer one. I'm using quite a hard one today. Underneath the side of the bottom, and then legs over to the side. So now you know if you've got the right place, because it really does ouch. If you haven't got the right place, then just move it and try again. Now, spiky ball, when you've got back pain, will become your best friend, I promise you. And it's going to feel really horrid today, but this will be the worst time you have to do it. And if you do it twice a day, you take a spiky ball in the car with you, it can make a real difference by releasing this piriformis muscle, which goes from your hip to your sacroiliac, which is the base of your spine. And then feel your bottom as if you feel like you've gone flat and your legs are going to tilt that way. If it does, you've done it correctly. And then swap to the other side. So find that bit in your bum and then over. And really squash that bit. Allow your body weight onto the ball. Sometimes we sort of protect ourselves and we don't even realise we're doing it. We're sort of hovering off the ball a little bit and not really getting in there. And then removing the ball. And your pelvis should feel flatter now. You should feel more in contact with the floor, a bit more relaxed. Can your shoulders relax? And then we're going to cross the right leg over the left leg, gurney style, so knee to knee. And then taking your legs over to the right. And I want you to think about keeping your ribs engaged onto the floor. So you should feel a stretch through the front of the pelvis. This is your main hip flexor. If you let your ribs go too much, then you're just bending through the rib cage and you're not really getting in the front of the hip. I think breathe in, and every time I breathe out, I think kind of lengthen through that leg a little bit more. And then tummy muscles in to protect your spine and taking your legs to the next side. This time you should feel the stretch either here between the base of your rib cage and the top of your pelvis, or some people feel it in the bottom depending on where the tightest bit is. And then back to centre, cross legs, I do apologise for the squeaky floorboards, and then over to the side, towards the left side, so you should feel now the right hip at the front. Sometimes I find if clients play with the angle of their leg a little bit, they find the stretch a little bit more. But when you do it this way, we're thinking about not letting the ribs leave the floor too much, so we find that stretch in the front of the body. Breathing in and breathing out, tummy muscles in and over to the last side. So this time, thinking, can you feel that stretch between the base of the ribs and the top of the pelvis, or is it into your glute? And back to centre. Uncross the legs. And we're going to do an exercise now called bent knee fallout. Now I think I'm better to come round this way to the camera. So you have your feet and your knees super glued together. You're going to breathe in. You're going to take one leg away from centre. Now I'm watching the still leg. So as soon as my still leg has a little wobble, I'm going to think pelvic floor, lower tummy, and bring my leg back to centre. And then the other side. As soon as it wriggles like it is, I'm going to think pull my tummy in, think a little bit pelvic floor, and then the other side. Now, if you find this quite hard to feel, sometimes if you put your fingers on your hips, it's a good indicator, because as soon as the hip falls away, that's too far. So this exercise is telling your pelvis where it should live. Now it's stretched out the back a little bit. Some people will find this very easy. Some people will find this extremely hard. People that tend to be quite bendy, hypermobile people find this much harder because their stability in the pelvis isn't so good, but this is why this is a great exercise to do. Making this the last one. And then we're going to come into side lying. Now the underneath leg's bent and you're going to lie on the crook of your arm. You're going to place your thumb and forefingers on the top of your pelvis and you're going to flex the foot. And you're going to breathe in and breathe out, push the leg away and release it. It's called leg lengthening and that's exactly what it does. Breathing in and breathing out. Now the things to note is your pelvis coming forward or backward? Because the body will try and cheat again. So we're physically pushing it away and then releasing it back. So flex the foot, push, lengthen, feel that stretch through the lumbar spine and back. And again, push. And release. Push. And release. And one more, push. And release. And then we're going to hit it correctly. Come down onto the other side. So, same thing, make sure your pelvis is nice and stacked up. And we're going to breathe in and breathe out. Push that leg long and release. And again, push and release. Push and release. Feel if there's a difference between one side and the other. Right, this is the last one. And releasing. Now rocking onto your back. Take a stretchy band. If you haven't got a stretchy band, you can use a scarf or a pair of tights. Place your foot into the band. Okay, so you're going to draw that leg back towards your body. Try and relax in the shoulders. So now we're stretching the hamstrings. And then we're going to push our heel towards the ceiling. So we're going to stretch through the calf as well. And then turn your toes towards the centre of the body, rotating from the top of the leg. So you feel like the bone's actually rotating inwards. And then turning your toes away from the centre of the body. And then you're going to take your leg over the body. So really feel that stretch down the outside of the leg. And then take the leg away from the centre of the body. And then repeating the same set of exercises on the other foot. So first of all, trying to get the leg as straight as you can and drawing it back towards your body. And then push your heel towards the ceiling. Find that stretch to the back of the calf. And then turn your toes towards the centre of the body. So rotating inwards. Nice bit of sun coming through the window, that's lovely. And then the other way. And then the leg over the body. Find that stretch down the outside of the leg. And then take your leg away from the centre of the body. And bring the leg back and releasing the band. Coming into side lying. Now you can have the bottom leg straight, bend the top leg. Now if you're up to it today, you can use the bottom leg to push that top leg backwards. Otherwise you can just have it down like this, whatever works best for you. You're looking for a good quad stretch, that's the front of your thighs. And releasing, think how you get up, nice straight spine. Other side. And releasing, coming into sitting. And I'll scooch back so you can hopefully see. And I just want, especially if you've got upper back pain, taking the arm up and leaning onto the other forearm. So we're stretching through the side of the body. Nice big breaths into the side of the ribs. And then face downwards. And back to centre. Coming over to the other side. So onto the forearm, stretching up and over. Nice big breaths into those top open ribs. And then face downwards, pushing the arm towards the mat. And back. I hope that's helped ease your back pain. Another little tip is when you're walking around, make sure you're not sticking your bottom out. If you drop your tailbone, it often really releases and reduces quite a lot of pain in the lumbar spine. So just think, am I dropping my tailbone? Are my tummy muscles engaged? And please, if you've got any questions about this routine or about any sort of pain related issues, please feel free to contact me. Have a good week. Bye.